Well, welcome back, all my darlings and yippee-ki-yay Musey lovers. Well, today we are starting our new story. It is by Ronnie14 on Reddit, and it's called This is My Scariest 911 Call, and it happened during training. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. I needed the job. I really did. Without a bachelor's, my previous nursing work hadn't paid much. Overall, I took the stress and abuse while barely making over minimum wage. Just enough for me and my 4-year-old son, Julian, to get by. So, yeah, life as a single black mother wasn't exactly easy. I found myself being fueled by internal drive rather than joy or comfortable cash. Only I wasn't a struggling mother in her mid to late 40s. I was 23. While most of my friends and coworkers could go to college or party on the weekends, I was caught in a jail of long hours and tight budgets. An even more frustrating lifestyle since I lived in a vibrant, bigger city like Columbus, Georgia. I could never hit the bars, or hell, just go in and meet hot guys. The fun I had with Julian became my only breaks from this stressful working class prison sentence. But still, I tried. Even through my binge eating and drinking, I stayed at an average weight. While I may have been forced to mature beyond my years, my looks hadn't caught up with my old mindset. I was still a pretty young woman. I had nice cheekbones accompanied by a pair of sultry lips, my eyes big and radiant. Whenever I had the time, I'd work out or even straighten my long black hair. Only those moments were few and far between while I was in nursing. Yet somehow I persevered. I dressed well without being bougie. I was strong and independent without being all ratchet. I stayed friendly and optimistic regardless of my fading sanity. And then, finally, it happened. I got a call back. A job offer to go somewhere higher than this hell. I was going to be a 911 call operator. As crazy as it sounds, the schedule would be less draining, the pay much better, and working for the Columbus Police Department meant I'd get all sorts of benefits, not to mention the chance to grow through various promotions. Of course I knew it was going to be stressful. I'd heard all the horror stories from both former call takers I knew and from literal horror stories I'd seen on Reddit. But I had to think of Julian. I'd now have more time with him, less time being underpaid, angry, and flippin' tired. Krista Hayes could now live. The only problem was training. This crap was going to take 8 weeks. 8 weeks stuck in a classroom Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Obviously, I wanted to be prepared before being thrown to the snarling wolves assaulting our 911 hotlines. But hell, it was boring. We had to go over countless textbooks and all the protocols, even take a crash course in CPR, not to mention the hours and hours of role play. Like a dull drama class full of amateur hacks, my classmates and I took turns playing caller and call taker. I guess it made for an easy $13 an hour, but mentally, this became an unbearable test for our patience. After a month or so, these dress rehearsals finally led to opening night. On Friday, we'd be taking calls for the very first time. Live calls. I was excited, but nervous. Hell, all of us were. Like soldiers prepping for war, me and the other 4 trainees arrived at 8 a.m. sharp. Our classroom was lower than the police station's first floor, a literal basement. A dimly lit hallway took us past clunker vending machines and straight to this bunker of a 911 center. Nothing but cold air all around us. Our instructor, Miss Wilder, had already given us a tour during our first week. On one end of the center was the 911 floor itself, a series of cubicles full of huge monitors and computer screens. An arena that veered between Wall Street histrionics and 9-to-5 monotony. There were no windows, no joy. The lighting was appropriate for a clinical lab, as was the mood. When the calls were coming, the workers went into a pissy frenzy. And when the calls died, things looked agonizing, boring. Within those bland gray walls, the call center was the doldrums of the Columbus Police Department. 2 double doors separated this torturous telethon from the rest of the 911 center, from our classroom. Right now, I counted about 7 middle-aged and exhausted people working in the lines. 2 call takers, 4 dispatchers, and a really obnoxious female supervisor. She was an overweight slob of a woman. Then again, the vast majority of employees here were overweight. We'd all been told it was inevitable, just a side effect of the job. But my classmates and I still had to endure another month of training. Yeah, we'd be answering calls, supervised calls. But hey, it beat having to do terrible role-playing or memorize countless run codes. So, there we were in the cramped classroom, a claustrophobic space of old tables, cheap CPR dummies, and a white board. There were no windows, no escape. The closed door kept us trapped in our own little world, like stranded explorers around a campfire. Us 5 trainees stayed close to the portable heater, our only solace from unrelenting cold. Miss Wilder and her assistant, Kelly, stood by the front desk, right by the large laptop. Our 911 manual sat beside the laptop. The manual was our script for the variety of upcoming emergencies we were about to face, its withered pages older than stone tablets. I sat near my classmates. There was Tanaya, a pretty black girl in her early 20s. Her and I went to the same high school together, and Tanaya was just as charming, loud, and petite as she was then. Her flamboyant clothes, which were only matched by her colorful claw-like fingernails. Then there was Abby, the only one of us who was married. A tall, plus-sized blonde woman with glasses and sarcasm to spare. Her studying and immense knowledge at this job put us all to shame, even the instructors. At 18, Catherine was the youngest out of all of us. She was a brunette with a thick Southern accent. I thought she played dumber than she really was, or at least I thought she was just trying to be funny. And finally, there was Patrick, the only guy in the class, one of two guys in the entire 911 center. Patrick was funny and cute, and pretty weird as well. Scrawny with green eyes, his morbid sense of humor threw everyone off. Then again, he was also a horror writer from what I understood. He even posted on Reddit. Given the lack of men out here, I could tell the thirstier, middle-aged female call takers constantly kept their hungry eyes on him. He was also 27 and older than the rest of us. Hell, I think he even had a degree. So who the hell knows how he ended up in here? Our instructors were cool for the most part. The stickier one was Miss Wilder, an older black lady with glasses and hair strewn all over the place. But she respected us, and we respected her kind but authoritative style. Like a veteran sergeant, she'd experienced her fair share of war stories on those phone lines, and this was going back to when they didn't even use computers. On the other hand, Kelly was a little younger, more hip. She was a blonde Southern belle with a pleasant attitude and face. And yeah, we walked all over her like high school rebels on a sweet substitute teacher. But right now, us 5 trainees were sitting in nervous anticipation, awaiting our death sentence of a first call. We were all under Miss Wilder and Kelly's watchful eyes. This would be our first taste of the life of a call taker. Clinging to my headset, I stole a look at my classmates' restless faces. For once, we weren't shooting the shit at 8 a.m., not with the battlefield looming before us. Miss Wilder checked the laptop one more time. She hit the touchpad and stepped back. The laptop's screen and lights beamed to life. "All righty," she said in a strong tone. Miss Wilder confronted the class. Playing her right-hand man, Kelly tried to emulate Miss Wilder's strict gaze. "Who's first?" Miss Wilder challenged us. Staying quiet, we avoided eye contact. We avoided eye contact with this firing squad and our fate. Silent tension dominated the room. Miss Wilder's wicked smile vanished. Battling my anxiety, I thought about taking one for the team. After all, it's not like I could forever avoid confronting that call. But right when I was about to step up, Miss Wilder fixated on Tanaya. "You first, Tanaya," Miss Wilder said in a staunch tone. Our instructor was back in drill sergeant mode. Ugh. Groaning, Tanaya stood up and walked toward the laptop. Her and I exchanged a weary smile. You got it, girl, I quipped. Man, I hope, Tanaya exclaimed. Kelly guided Tanaya to the desk, plugged in Tanaya's headset. Watching over them like a self-serious, stupid visor, Miss Wilder motioned toward the manual. Just remember, you can use that at any time. The words didn't exactly encourage Tanaya. She flashed me an anguished look. We'll be right here, Miss Wilder went on. Oh, Lord, Tanaya said through the nerves. My classmates and I couldn't help but chuckle. At least we weren't going to be the first guinea pig. Poor Tanaya. Leaning in toward Tanaya, Kelly pointed at the screen. Okay, your call's coming in there. Click it, and you'll follow the script. Okay, Tanaya said. We'll hear everything, so don't be nervous. Tanaya's trembling hands put on the headset. She smiled at me. Oh, child. You got the volume up, right? Miss Wilder asked Kelly. Yes, ma'am, Kelly replied as she backed away from the desk. Curious, Catherine looked toward Miss Wilder. Is it busy today? Miss Wilder gave her a mischievous smile. Oh, it will be. Trust me. Like an apocalyptic alarm, a ringing phone blared through the room, straight from the laptop. The sound jolted Tanaya into a frenzy. Oh, Jesus, she shouted. Answer it, Miss Wilder said. Recovering fast, Tanaya's focus overtook her goofy charm. She clicked on the call. And with that, we have part 1 of this fabulous, really short mini-series, and it's gonna get really good. You've met everyone, and now the fun begins. So see you real soon for part 2. All right, have a great day, and yippee-ki-yay, Musey lovers. Bye now.